Well, I'll tell you what. I couldn't believe this episode.
This shit again. Look, we went through this on Arrow. I'm pretty sure we went through this on Flash.
That was like season 4 of Arrow, though. It's been a long time since we've had the bee puns. Come on now.
Yeah. And I was happy to leave them dead. Leave them behind.
Don't be unreasonable.
Oh, God, this is it for the rest of the show, isn't it?
This is season 1, episode 18. It's called Drone. And you wouldn't believe the plot
You've
of this
already done that one. You can't do that one again.
I know, but still, I have to do it. So notable things about this episode. There's a student president campaign going on for the following year. And we get introduced to the candidates. We get the popular blonde girl who's kind of, mean girl-esque. And then you've got the nerdy girl with the glasses who seems to actually care about the politics of the school. And then you've got a guy who seems like he's kind of in between. He kind of cares and he seems nice, like, likable enough, and just going for it, right? And then Pete, probably the most he's done all season, is rope Clark into this campaign where Clark just walks around the corner of the hall and sees a big sign saying Clark Kent for president. Which, of course, the whole reason why we're doing this plot is so they can say Clark Kent, the man of tomorrow. That is the only reason why he's in this campaign race. I'm calling it now.
Oh, it definitely is. This is one that I can find forgivable, though.
So yes, the villain, which turns out to be the nerdy girl with the glasses, can control bees because she gets stung with bees next to kryptonite, and she now can control the bees as if she's the queen. And we get some horrible CGI for the bees, especially.
It opens on a horrific CGI bee.
Oh yeah.
That one that just it goes around the edge of the school, it goes up to like Chloe or whatever. It's awful. It's probably the worst one, not counting the faces.
Yeah, it's not counting when it makes a face of her in the sky when they all swarm together to make a face, and it's like, hey, Joe, you think you're the mummy now? I can't believe we're bringing up Brendan Fraser again twice in one episode, but we're going to the mummy to make a face out of bees.
Yep.
God damn it. Surprisingly though, I don't think this episode's that bad. I was expecting an absolute train wreck of an episode, but by Smallville standards, this was middle of the road.
Everything kind of fits.
Yeah, like both Chloe and P have something to do, although of course Clark's upset reaction to Chloe not endorsing him because at first he's like, I'm going to drop out, and then his parents kind of talk him into it, and he's like, okay, I'm going to run. And Pete's making posters and he's making meet and greets and all that. And Chloe gives him some shit for not actually having a platform, not actually having any stances on anything. What's your stance on the food in the cafeteria? What's your stance on?
There should be some.
That's not getting. It's just that's not good funding and blah 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 blah. And obviously, I'm just thinking, yeah, because the school president actually has any sway in any of this shit at all.
No idea.
But he comes in because she's going to be objective to the point where she's going to put things up for all the candidates, but she's going to do an editorial endorsing one, and Clark flips it over and sees that she's endorsing the other guy, and he immediately just goes whiny and he's like, oh Chloe, I can't believe this, and he storms out, and then later on he's acting like a whiny little bitch, and all I can think is, no, you're the one who's been immature here.
No, it is, and that's the only thing I can appreciate about this plot is that every other character is like, what? No, stop complaining.
True. Every character calls him out on his shit. But
even Lana calls him out on this.
It's so immature though that it feels just out of character for Clark. I don't care if he's supposed to be maturing still and he's younger. This is just so petty and childish.
It is.
He's upset at Chloe didn't endorse him, and he's just like, I think the actual phrase he says when he looks at it is like, Chloe, what the hell? As if what, you were supposed to just get an endorsement because you're a friend? Do you understand the whole point of being having integrity as a journalist? Like, what?
Yeah, how he ever ends up the planet, I have no idea.
I know. All of a sudden, every year at the barbecue contest, Smallville's cooks have a great review by him for some reason. It's so strange. It's almost like there's some favoritism going on.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk? Which is something that Clark actually says in this episode that I thought was kind of weird.
Least of my problems.
Yeah.
Least of my problems.
No. Biggest of the problems.
It's not Chloe Clark's drama, no?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's the bees.
No, it's not even that. It's the kid, the first guy, right, who gets put in hospital because of the bees.
Oh yeah, sure.
The one who's, actually the one the Chloe endorses, and he's printing out his campaign flyers, and he's got himself in a Superman outfit, the blue, the cape, the yes. What's going on there?
I didn't even notice that.
He's printing out and he's in a Superman suit. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? That suit can't exist in this world.
I assume it's not the exact shape though of the emblem and stuff. It's just more of a.
It's got an S in the middle. It's a blue with a red cape and then an S in the middle.
But it's not like the diamond shape emblem.
I mean, I don't know without checking. It's pretty close. But
like, I'll admit, I if there's anything visual like that, I might miss it from time to time on Smallville, because I may or may not be touching up my Tetris skills as I'm watching Smallville, because that's how I get through the episodes.
That is understandable, but
so I did not quite catch this outfit.
So horrifically, annoyingly bad. I'm trying to check it. I want to see how bad this was.
You're looking for it.
It's not quite a diamond. It's in more of a shield.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's pretty close, right? And it's yellow behind it as well, by the look of it here.
Yeah, but it's S for Smallville. The cape just happens to be red.
It's a yellow S, red behind it, blue suit, red cape. No, I'm not having it.
Look, I'm not saying it's not bullshit and it's not going too far. I'm just saying
this is the worst referencing Smallville has had yet.
Oh no, it's not. No. I will buy it that someone just happens on the color, because it's just primary colors. It's just I can accept that someone happens upon the color scheme way more than I can some of the bullshit dialogue where people say like key Superman phrases and wink wink. It's not like I'm a criminal mastermind, Clark. Wink. It's not like it's not like I don't want to fly and be in a suit all the time. Wink. No. This is not up there. This is bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending it and saying it's good. I'm saying it is not as bad as half the lines of dialogue.
To me, it's worse because they tried to sneak it in. Like, oh look, this will be a fun little Easter egg. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, he gets stung first. But he's only healed. He's in the hospital. The second victim, however, though, is beyond saving, and that's when things get suspicious. And I do have to call bullshit on how quickly Clark and Chloe, who are kind of fighting by this point. This is already after the whole hubbub, but they very quickly just go, "So you think she's controlling the bees then?" "Yeah, I think so." I'm like, how did we reach that? How did we get to that?
Hey, she had the accident. Chloe, one was like, "Hey, she was stung by a lot of bees last year. Do you know where she was stung?" "Oh yeah, there's a lot of kryptonite there, isn't there?"
They don't know the word kryptonite yet, though. So yeah,
I'm paraphrasing clearly.
Now, I know that they've encountered a lot of crazy types of people, and it's not as much of a leap in this show as it would be in any other world. But at the same time, the speed of which he just casually, it's like this back and forth where she was stung by a lot of bees last year, and it's the other candidates that got stung. So you think she's controlling the bees somehow, but it's not like it's one thing to suggest that she's behind it and she's the culprit and that she is somehow luring them into a trap, but to immediately go to she's controlling the bees somehow is the very first thought that comes out of Chloe's mouth.
I think it says a lot about Chloe.
I just don't know. But yeah, of course they investigate. She threatens Clark a little bit because he's also still running. Because if she can't sting him, she'll sting the mom. There's a scene where she goes after the Clark with the bees and the talon, and he has to hate Lana and he has to freeze the bees, and he's okay because he's Clark, he's Superman, he's fine.
But, he's good. No bees stinging him.
But there's a ridiculously over the top slow motion sequence of Martha almost being stung, where she's kind of she's doing almost the platoon dive in slow motion.
Yeah, at first when this scene started, I was like, okay, yeah, go for someone who you can hurt. She's out on the tractor or whatever it is, and you just see the bees come in. I'm like, okay, this works. She's running away. I'm like, okay, here comes Clark, and then it cuts to slow motion.
This, however, does not excuse the fact that when she goes to control, because she's in the barn talking to Clark, when she goes to control the bees, she literally makes a face as if she's trying to push out a shit.
It does, doesn't she?
She's like,
I appreciate that Clark's like, what are you doing? What is this?
Go back to the start of this review where I said by Smallville standards this wasn't that bad an episode. Just go back to that statement. I still believe that.
It's still true, but we're still ripping it to shreds because both things are possible.
And then eventually he goes to her place and there's an explosion, kills all the bees, and that's it. And he saves her because he's Superman and he's good, doesn't let her die. And that's the main plot. That's your A plot. Your B plot.
I knew you were gonna do that because I know how rarely you talk about A and B plot on Smallville, but I knew you were doing it this time.
on, if anything, that was the most natural B pun yet.
No. This is where you intentionally say subplot and subvert the expectations and don't do the B plot pun.
Behave. So, I mean, it's really up for debate which one is the B plot. Well, I'll just go with Lana and the Talon first of all. The Talon's doing terrible. There's hardly anyone in it.
There's a coffee shop over the road called the Beanery going, hey, we're cheaper.
Yeah, apparently they're just getting their asses kicked by this coffee shop across the road. And Whitney's making all of his friends drink there just so that she's got some customers, and it's kind of pathetic. Notice how now we're at a point where Whitney doesn't even care if she talks to Clark. That's a good thing. It's a more of a mature response, but there's no I almost expected Clark to just say, "Hey, Whitney," as he walks out. He's like, "Oh, hi, Clark."
Yeah. They're over it, I guess.
Yeah, well, which is nice. I mean, I wish it was done in a way that was actually satisfying in a story perspective. I do at least appreciate that they didn't try and keep dragging out the rivalry.
I think the bigger problem is I don't trust them not to just
go back to it any second.
Instantly go back to Whitney being jealous and annoyed just because that's what this episode needs.
Yeah, and Lana is clearly still flirting with Clark by saying, "Oh, you should run because you're this and you're that," and when you look into your eyes, you clearly care when there's someone, there's injustice being done. Which, by the way, what do you stand for? Truth, justice, and some other stuff. I actually don't hate that one. That one's okay.
That one's okay. I did laugh at here as well. So, he goes, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm going to run after this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And Chloe's like, why are you doing this? You didn't want to yesterday. And he's like, Lana. This is because of Lana, isn't it?
Lana said she likes a presidential man, so Clark's running for president.
Yeah.
So I mean, the talent plot's kind of whatever. It's mostly just there for Clark to go and talk to Lana most of the times, and then Lex is there a couple of times and makes her think outside the box. And she actually plays really dirty. She digs up dirt on the rivals and gets them shut for health violations. So now the talent business is booming.
I like it.
So hey, I'll tell you what. Even Lana was not as bad in this episode. I mean, it was a little bit forced, but it wasn't as bad as normal. I felt like when they were joking about, everyone quotes the Godfather, and then Lex comes in and quotes the Godfather, I'm like, that was an okay little joke. I'll give the points. That's fine. It's fine. Of course, it's like, they were saying that everyone over 40 quotes the Godfather, and he comes in and I'm like, yeah, Lex is not that old, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, Michael Rosenbaum's probably about the same age as all these actors, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
He just looks like
I
his
think,
head
to be fair, though, he in this show, as Lex, he acts older.
Oh, he does. No, he absolutely
right?
does, yeah.
So the joke still plays.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean the Lana stuff. So I'm shocked that I'm saying this. The Lana content in this episode is kind of fine. And I think it's because as much as there's a couple of you should run Clark because you're this and you're that, and lovey-dovey eyes. And there's the one moment in the porch after the bee attack where it's like, oh, we should do this more often. And it's just kind of dated comments.
Yeah, I think the worst part is at the end where she's like, oh, read me your speech.
Oh, true, yeah, that's really cheesy at the end. That's fair. But it wasn't to the same concentration where every single scene with them, I was like, oh my god, every line of dialogue is making me want to pull out my hair.
Yeah.
Right? Instead, it was like, most of it was fine, and there was just one or two scenes where they kind of diverted into the flirting, and it was like, oh, okay. So, honestly, my biggest problem with this episode, well, maybe outside of the Clark being pissed at Chloe, was actually that Lex literally falls for a trap where a sexy woman is just by the road needing help with a car, and it's literally just his legs are kicking out, and he's like, oh, I'm going to stop and offer help.
See, I don't mind that he does this because he notices pretty quickly. He's like, hang on, this is starting to sound like an interview. I know what's going on here. It's the fact that she does actually succeed later on in getting she has this hatchet job article, and I'm like, and she makes a point of saying she's a pretty junior reporter, right? This is like her first big story that it'll be.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, Lex? You got played by an amateur?
Can't beat a mighty duck. She's a mighty duck. I'm not just making that reference up. She's a Mighty Ducks. I recognised her and went, who is that? She looks really familiar. And I looked her up. She was in the Mighty Ducks. She was Connie, I believe, in all 3 Mighty Ducks movies.
All 3?
All 3.
Look at that.
She probably been lost a couple of years after this as well, actually. So it's just funny. I'm so used to her being like 13, 14, because that's what she is in those movies.
Yeah.
But here she is, being the seductive journalist. I do like though when she's sort of like somehow. I imagine she's like a hitman and she's like gagged the actual masseuse that was meant to come and like give Lex a massage.
It's when she says, "Oh, she couldn't make it today."
Yeah.
What did you do to her?
I know, and he's like, okay, I'll give you the story. You're persistent. I appreciate that, but I paid for a full hour. Keep robbing.
I can appreciate that too. Like, yeah, like that sounds
I think
like
my problem with it is just him actually pulling over because the attractive lady needs help. Just felt so cartoony.
It is, but I absolutely believe Lex would do that every time.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's there in his Ferrari, and he's like, "Oh, I can look good here." Every time he's gonna do that.
I suppose, but hey, that was basically Smallville. Hey, I'll say about this. This is as kind of compliment as I can give this episode. It's better than Arrow's B episode.
That's true, yeah.
Because at least the bees in this one didn't form a physical like body that actually connected together enough that it looked like he was wearing a suit.
Yeah, they did a face, but
yeah, it was awful CGI, but at least it was still, the impression was still that it was just like lots of bees making an image rather than all of a sudden they've made like fabric somehow.
Yeah. God, I hate that Arrow episode.